session, we are going to discuss scanning. And the difference between scanning and information gathering is that in scanning, we try a lot of different things. For example, which ports are open, which services are running, which operating system is running. The difference between information gathering and scanning. Other differences because in information gathering, you are using the system or the website as a normal user would use. But in scanning, you are doing a lot of different things which a normal user will not do. A normal user will not try to find out which ports are open, and it sends a lot of packets on the server. So that is why till information gathering, it is okay to do without permission. But when it comes to scanning, you need to have the target's permission, or you can be questioned. And the most important tool in general and for scanning is Nmap, which is the short for network mapping. So if I just simply run Nmap and then type, let's say, Google. Okay, no, first let us discuss the flags. So we discussed that there are about 65,536 ports, and we discussed that not all of the ports are used. Only a few ports are used normally, 8, 10, 15. What are ports basically? Ports are the different, you can say, data entry points that different services use where to take their relevant data from. Because you have just one LAN connection and it's sending information for all the services, how will the services know which information is mine? We differentiate that by ports. So there are about 65,000 ports, but not all of them are used. And then some of them are commonly used. Let's say uh, port 80 for your browsing, port 443 for secure browsing, port 22 for SSH, 21 for FTP, etc. And if I want to find out, when I say ports are open, that means that probably that service is running. Although it is possible to change the ports, but these are default ports. So it is possible that I change my browser's uh, port from 80 to 8080. I'll be communicating from 8080. It is possible I can change that. But usually the default is 80 or 440. So if I want to find out which ports are open on my target machine, or in other words, which services are running, I can do that through Nmap. So there are different flags that I will discuss first before running Nmap. So one of them is dash capital T. Capital T is, you can say, the speed of the scan. For example, if Nmap sends a packet to check if a port is open, we discussed that if it is filtered, it will not send me back. So it can wait, let's say, 0.5 of a second. It can wait 1 second. It can wait 2 seconds. It can wait 5 seconds. So how much time do I want Nmap to wait to make sure whether a port is filtered or not before deciding? If I want quick scan, let's say I am connected with a host on the same network, then I can say that keep it fast. 5 is highest, 4 is a bit lower than that, and T1 means the slowest. You make wait longest. So let's say I ran a scan of a machine that was on another network on another location, and someone told me that this port is open, and when I ran default without mentioning the T parameter, it was showing that the port is filtered, and someone told me the port is open. So default is I think T3, which is in the middle. But what I can do next time is mention T1 to wait more. This is one parameter. I can take T4, make it fast. The other parameter is I want to see the visibility of what Nmap is doing. Because right now, if I type a command, it will just wait, show me a blank screen, maybe after 2 3 minutes, it will show me the result. But if I want to see what's happening, what is it sending, what is the response, I can say dash V, which is the visibility. Okay, so these are two basic parameters. And you can also see rest of the parameters when you type Nmap and you can just go up and see all of them. So let's say if I say Nmap, so right now I'm not mentioning anything. What I can do is, let's say I want to find out which port is open on a particular website or server. Let's say I just want to know whether port 80 is open, which is in secure browsing, because usually it's 443, which is secure browsing. Let's say I want to find out whether a particular port is open. I just type dash P, that particular port. If I want to find out whether a range of ports is open, I can say 802, I don't know, 90. So I can try to find out the range of ports, putting a hyphen in between. Okay, and then I say, let's say google.com, which, since I mentioned visibility, it showed me every step, and I mentioned T4, so it was quick. Let's say what happens if I say T1, it's a bit slower. Right? You got the point? Difference between T4 and T1. Okay. So what can we see? Whether a port is open or closed or filtered. So we can see port 80 is open, which is web browsing port. The others are filtered. Okay. Let's say, okay, now I know that port 80 is open. I want to, and it told me that HTTP service was running on it. I can see port, state, and the service running on it. I want to know the version of the services that is running on it. So I type S, dash small s capital V. This is case sensitive, and map is case sensitive. If you type S small v, it will not show you the same result. It's case sensitive. So dash small s capital V. Meanwhile, so this is nmap.org. If you if you read this whole website, you are half hacker. Because Nmap, like I said, we can bypass closed ports, filtered ports. We can bypass, closed ICMP protocol. We can do a lot of different things. So you go to Nmap reference guide. So you can go how I can use Nmap for host discovery. Let's say you want to know how many hosts are up in a network. You can just do Nmap dash S capital L, and if on those systems ICMP was closed, so what will happen? Okay, for some reason it shows service HTTP and version GWS. Not sure if that is 100% correct, but let's say it was FTP service on a server and we scanned it, then it will tell us the version of FTP service, of SSH service. So what I was trying to say is, let's say ICMP was closed on a host. And default is T3, so it's fine. No need to mention T every time. But let's say okay, let's see what's my email address. So my date is .1. Okay, so if I do just simplest scan, I don't mention any parameters except let's say visibility. Okay, no service scan, whatever. What will Nmap do by default? It will scan the 1000 most commonly used ports on a server. Out of 65,000, there are 1000 that are most commonly used. Let's say 3389 for RDP, some other use for MySQL database, etc. So 1000 most common ports will be scanned on the system. If I just simply do this without any flag, if I had not mentioned -v, this would have been just blank. So let's do default because I want to see the results quickly. So far, I discovered two ports that are open, port 80 and port 53. So port 22 is open, which is SSH. 53 is open and 80 is SSH is filtered, not open. So it showed me the result. But let's say if it was a system on which ICMP was closed, I can do that by going to the firewall. If ICMP was closed and if I had ran this scan or tried to ping the system, it would have shown me either timed out or destination host unreachable. But if I do it through Nmap and I mention the flag dash capital PN, this will tell that, so by default, whenever I run Nmap for any system or server, it first pings the system to make sure that it is up, then it sends in for different ports. And if the ICMP protocol is closed on that machine, when it first tries to ping the machine, which it does by default, it will get destination host unreachable and will say the host is not up. In that case, I might get confused. How is that possible? Because someone is using the laptop in front of me, sitting beside me, is using his internet, but when I ping him, it shows me the host is not up. That is confusing. So what is possible is he has closed ICMP protocol on that system or on his firewall. So what I do is I don't just say okay this host is down. I try to rerun the scan with dash capital PN and I tell it do not run ping before you try to scan the host. So although you don't see much difference because in this case it showed me result even without capital PN because ICMP was probably open on that system. But in case if you see host is not up, you should always try to find out that capital. And so what happened is I used Nmap to list which hosts are up in my network. So we saw in the website that we use SL and we specify the entire subnet /24. So I mentioned the network address, which is the gateway address, 192.168.1.1, and then I mentioned /24. So it will search for all the IPs in that subnet, and let's say it found out Kali is there, it found out that the desktop is there, should not say. I don't know why it says zeros are up, but you can see it has detected two rows. Okay. So you can see that this is Kali 109, which it shows is up. And when I did ifconfig, I saw that my machine's IP is 109. Make sense? Okay, so one more thing. So now let's say, what's the other one? The IP of the Windows. Okay, my iPhone is also connected to my Wi-Fi, so it also detected that. My desktop is let's say 160. If I want to know which operating system is running on a machine, I'll say hyphen capital O. Okay. So what does it tell me? If you see, it shows me OS, possible servers that are running are Windows. I know Windows Server 2.8. Yeah. It's not 100% correct, but at least it tells me whether it's Windows or Linux or some other operating system.